At the moment of my abortion, I was certain God would never love me. God turned away from me. Look at what I did. God loves everyone else. God hates me.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion by the age of 45. And these women live among us. They can be your wife, they can be your daughter, they can be your granddaughter, they can be your Sunday school teacher, they can be the woman that sings in your choir. I'm just naming a few. 1 in 4. These women live among us, like I said, and you'll never know who we are because for most of us, we keep this our secret sin.
My mom is very nurturing, very kind, very loving. My father is very hard work, discipline. He loves people just in a more firm way. And when I was 12, I had decided, he's mean, I'm done. I'm not gonna go visit him anymore. I'm not gonna have any communication. And so our relationship stopped. I started looking for love anywhere, and I became very promiscuous. I got involved with an older group of men. I would sneak out at night. We would drink and we would party and just all of the dangerous things. In my mind, sex was love and love was sex. And so at 15, I learned that I was pregnant. I was close with our school nurse. I visited her often, sneaking out and partying. I was often not feeling well at school, and I would go into her office and rest. But I had disclosed to her that I was pregnant, and her immediate response was, "What have you done? You have destroyed your future, his future. You have to have an abortion." And that just was planted in my mind. This is what I have to do. What have I done? I didn't want to take accountability. I didn't want my family to know that I was having sex. From there, we had told my boyfriend's mom, and she had the same reaction. I called the abortion clinic and I needed to schedule an appointment. And in talking with them, they had let me know that I didn't have to tell my parents I was pregnant. I didn't have to tell my parents that I was going to have an abortion. Here's a way that you can do it without them ever knowing. Really, all of the adults in the equation kind of set it up from there and just didn't really explain it, but just, you need to be here at this time. We'll walk you over to the courthouse. We'll have a hearing. You'll testify in front of a judge on why you don't want to tell your parents. When you're that young, it was just, okay. The school nurse was willing to, don't worry about school. I'll write you a note that says you were in my office not feeling well all day. My best friend's older sister was willing to drive me, so the nurse was willing to write her a note also. And that way, my mom could drop me off at school thinking I'm at school all day and would never know any different. The fee, my boyfriend's mom reached out to a friend. We needed money and he was more than willing to give it. And so the money was there. The gas money, I used what I had, and it was $2 bills. My grandparents would hide it in our Easter eggs. They believed, $2 bills would one day be worth a lot of money. And so every year they would hide $2 bills in our Easter eggs, and I had them saved in my bedroom. And that was our gas money. So all of the barriers were out of the way. So the day of my procedure, I remember laying on the table and crying, and I remember the nurse telling me, just breathe. What's terrifying to think of is, had there been a complication, nobody knew I was there. There very easily could have been, because I had no idea even my health history. But I do remember them telling me, you know, should you need medical care and you go to the doctor, they will know if they do an exam. And so when you're hiding from accountability, you've just done something significant. What I heard was, do not go to the doctor. And so I do remember there being a night I laid on my couch and I had pain, unimaginable pain. And I remember thinking something is not right, being fearful that something's wrong and I might die. But if that's what I have to do for nobody to find out, that's what I have to do. My parents' parental rights were taken from them and they had no knowledge. Their ability to parent me was removed for an entire day and they had no idea. And so I don't know what disturbs me more, the fact that we once were allowing minors to go to court and say they were mature enough to end their pregnancy, or the fact that that's no longer needed. I think because of my other trauma of the sexual exploitation, I was really good at just like stuffing it away. And that's what I did. You know, the partying, the promiscuity, the drinking, the men, it continued. You know, my mental health spiraled, depression, anxiety, it all just really kind of reared its ugly head. I lived that way from 13 up until I was 36.
There's just many self-abusive behaviors that women enter into, and one of the reasons is because there's a sense of justice within us that tells us someone innocent has died and the guilty are going unpunished. I got about 7 women together who I'd met who'd had abortions who are now willing to tell their story. They were called the PALS, Post-Abortive Ladies. So we started telling our stories in colleges, in churches, in schools. We have been invited all over and we've told our stories. Out of that, I saw a need that as these women came forth and said, me too, I've had an abortion. The Forgiven and Set Free Bible Study and Retreat was started in the state of North Dakota.
I knew that it was going to bring up all kinds of emotions and feelings, and I got scared. And I went within like the last minute of check-in. And so I remember introducing myself and just saying, I'm here anyway. Nothing you guys do or say is going to change anything. And I was right to a part, because it wasn't anything they did or said. It was me opening a Bible that I had never done. I had never opened a Bible because I did not want to read how much God hated me. And so I had never dived into the Bible. And so the moment that it all clicked, we had been talking about our abortions and somebody saying, God grieved us. And I remember that really catching my attention and saying, what did you just say? And she said, well, God didn't just grieve our babies. God grieved us in that moment. God knew what this was going to do to our life. And visually, you could probably see my wheels spinning, because I related it to when I'm upset with my kids or when I'm getting after my kids. It's not because I hate them, it's because I love them and I don't want them hurt. And it all just making sense in like a split second and just sobbing. And the group kind of stopped and said, Sadie, what's going on? Like, I feel like something's happening right now. And I said, what time is it? And someone told me the time. And I said, I just want to write it down And I said, because you guys, I'm forgiven. And everybody just like, our jaws dropping, because I was so certain that I was not going to leave any different. And that was the moment that my entire life changed. The Easter after the retreat that I went to was an Easter I'll never forget, because it was the first Easter in my life that I had realized God died for me too. And so it was very emotional. God died for me.
There is hope for every woman. Every woman. No one is exempt from the grace of God, from the love of God, from the mercy of God at all. There is room at the table for everyone. Yeah, there is. Yeah.